What's going on, YouTubers? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Natural Born Driller here. Welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, the show from April 8th, 2021. April 8th is actually my cousin's birthday. So happy birthday to my cousin. But they were in Nashville, Tennessee at the Skyway Studios. Commentators were Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown. Not gonna go too long with this. I'm just gonna skim through it because this was actually the go home show edition for Impact Wrestling. Pertains to Hardcore Justice 2021. That's gonna be on Impact Plus. The show already happened. This is actually recorded a day later. I was at work, so I couldn't watch it, and I will do a preview of it. So I will try my absolute best to avoid any spoilers whatsoever. On top of that, you already had WrestleMania happen, pertains to WrestleMania Night 1. And then yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna run through the card. Everything happened on the show, I'm going to say, and then I'll do a separate video pertains to the predictions of Hardcore Justice 2021. So just throw it in there. Opening match was knockouts, 6 tag match. A 6 knockouts tag match, I should say. Rosemary, Jordan Grace, and Havoc versus Tennille Dashwood, Nevaeh, and Alicia Edwards. Why? I don't know. At this point, I just don't care anymore. Why she signed with the heels? Why she always at Swingers Palace? Well, in this case, she wasn't at Swingers Palace, but what business of her being here? With Tennille Dashwood and Nevaeh, heels, even though Alicia Edwards was supposed to be a baby face. And on top of that, this whole thing with Havoc and Nevaeh, that whole thing they did with Nevaeh turning on Havoc a week ago, that was a flop too because of what they did afterwards. On that same show where Havoc just show up with the rest of the knockouts and Tom Dreamer, retain building of Hardcore Justice, even though Nevaeh wasn't there. But everything they did was so stupid and made no sense, and it lacked continuity. And right here, we're back to the whole thing where everything has lacked continuity. Match itself, I didn't really care for the match that much, especially when they brought out a table. I ain't getting sick and tired of watching wrestling matches when they involving tables, even though it's not even no rules, because it's just a regular match with rules where you can't be using any type of weapons. And the fact that they use a table here and the referee allows it to happen, like, I ain't getting sick and tired of seeing these table spots. It's become overdone already, like other things has been overdone, like the Canadian Destroyer, where people kicking out of it, and super kicks constantly, I keep saying, over and over again, the dives, it's just too much of it, and I just can't take it anymore. I don't want to just think about tables either, but Jesus Christ, man. Even when it comes to weapons in general, like, enough is enough with that shit. New Japan Pro Wrestling can get away with that because their rules are different. Makes no sense for right here in America, or basically it doesn't matter if they're even doing it overseas in Canada or wherever. Pertains to these promotions like AEW or WWE, Ring of Honor and all that. Enough is enough of that shit. Well, to give credit to Ring of Honor though, Ring of Honor doesn't even do that much table spots. Only when it comes to pay-per-views. Basically, when it tends to no rules or ladder matches or whatever. Either way, so during the time I'm used to watch it. But yeah, Havoc, Rosemary, and Jordan Grace won. The match I didn't care for. It was a flop. Matt Cardona tells GM Miller that despite what Brian Myers may think of him, or why he's in Impact Wrestling, he still turned down the challenge at Rebellion, and and it says he's eager to fight. So he went to Scott Demoy and he wanted an opponent, and Scott Demoy basically chose Jake something. And basically, Macrodome cut a promo here, which I thought was good. So I wasn't into the promo, and yeah, we'll get to that match later. We get a real promo, which I didn't get to mention this before, folks, because I'm assuming this happened last week. I just didn't remember it, and I completely forgot about it. But they've been doing this video package of someone returning. Basically coming soon to Impact Wrestling. And I heard before, before they did this video vignettes, I heard about beforehand that someone's gonna be returning to Impact Wrestling, and I knew who it was. And then after hearing seeing this second video vignette of coming soon, and they give us a hint there. Let's get wild. I'm gonna leave you guys to your imagination on who you think it could be. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just letting you know. For those old school TNA wrestling fans, what chance to the Knockouts division, or again, I'll give you a hint there. It's just like Impact Wrestling, just give you a hint there. Even though I know who's going to be. I already know who's returning, even before they did this video vignettes. So, but basically, this video vignette is what gave me the hint of who it was and who's going to be. And don't know how that person's doing. Don't know how that person looks right nowadays. But hopefully, this person still looks the same. Hopefully, this person can still go. And we'll see how this person can make a comeback back in Impact Wrestling, because this person back in TNA Wrestling, off of this company, I thought this person was pretty good. So, but we'll see how that person turns out once that person comes, whenever this person is coming soon. But again, the hint again is let's get wild. I'll leave you to imaginations who could that be. So we'll move on. Alright, so after being head first to the steel steps by Jazz, from the match from before the Impact, which I didn't watch, didn't care for, because apparently Susan was attacked by Jazz during that episode, and was visited by Dr. Ross, and he tells Susan that her time has come, and also we start seeing some memories of her past pertains to Su Yung. So I'm assuming we're gonna get the return of Su Yung, which if we are, good, because I hate this character of Susan, and I think Tion Process was in there too, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, but whatever. I'll get to Tion Process later, by the way. So, all right, Matt Cardona versus Jake something. Match itself I thought it was decent, and then the finish happened. Brian Myers comes out and attacks, both guys, causing basically a no contest. Takes out Matt Cardona on a rampway, and then takes out Jake something. And then also Brian Myers gets a microphone and he accepts the challenge for Rebellion. And I say to myself, but you didn't accept him before when he issued the challenge. And then when Matt Cardona decided to move away from you, and you both could go your separate ways, you attack him, and all of a sudden now you accept his challenge, even though you didn't want to fight him in the first place. I get it, it's supposed to be the heel thing and all that, but I'm getting sick and tired of that too, by the way. When it pertains to heels having no continuities of pertains to this whole thing. It's just so stupid. Triple XL, they confront Trey Miguel, asking if he'll join Sami Callihan for the match, and Trey Miguel said, did you guys not remember or see what I said to Callihan last week? That or it basically called him stupid or something like that. So Larry D claims that those words are something that who lacks passion, and that basically triggered Trey Miguel to a point where we'll get to happen later. Eric Young, despite of him losing, he blames his loss because of Diener. If this is not gonna lead to Diener getting kicked out of Fine by Design, then I don't give a fuck, because I don't care about Diener. So his punishment, he must go alone against Chris Sabin. Oh, what a punishment that is! I thought the whole George Doring beating him up was supposed to be the punishment, but instead this is his punishment. And then in the match, he's got to face Chris Sabin alone, which it was a reason behind that too. And we'll get to that later. So we get to Chris Sabin, who's being accompanied by Cowboy James Storm. Before we get to the match, I'm surprised it's not there's nothing here about the Swingers Palace segment here, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. So there was Chris Harris, Wildcat Chris Harris, Cowboy James Storm, and Machine Gun or mostly Machine Gun Chris Sabin. I'm using nicknames now, but they're all at Swingers Palace, and I guess Chris Sabin was losing. James Storm, I guess he was winning some chips, whatever, or something. Wildcat Chris Harris, I think, he was out, whatever, and then James Storm gave him his chips because they was getting ready to go in action. Basically, he referenced, here's some money, and get it's not about beer money, it's not that, something to the fact. And Chris Sabin is like, hey, what was that? Basically referencing beer money and everything. And basically, it was just James Storm busting shots and everything. And then he said something about guilty as charged, something like that. I guess because that I'm assuming that's supposed to be the catchphrase that they used when they were a part of a tag team called America's Most Wanted back in the old days of TNA. I'm assuming that's what it is, but because again, I didn't watch the beginning of TNA wrestling during that time. The only time I watched TNA wrestling was when I got on Spike TV, like around 2006 maybe. So, but anyways, but yeah. But that was that. And Stringers, he's loving life. He's got the royal money and everything because Stringers Palace is a success. So we get to the match now. Now we get to the match. Chris Sabin with James Storm versus Diener. So Diener lose. And also James, not James Storm. Also, Eric Young appears on the Topatron saying to James Storm, who basically walked into a trap. Because it wasn't about Diener winning or losing. It was about taking out, Wildcat Chris Harris, which they did. So they basically invaded Stringer's Palace. So Stringer's Palace was basically was destroyed, because of Eric Young saying the plan pertains to beat up on Chris Harris. So Nirvana comes out of nowhere, gores James Storm, and Diener goes right to Chris Sabin, gives him a DT. And the beatdown happens, and that was it. So they still continue this program, and we'll see where it leads to. I know it's going to lead to Wildcat Chris Harris going back into the ring. Where it pertains to this, I just don't know. And as far as Jake something, where it pertains to something, is he could be back involved with them too? Where it pertains to taking care of Vampire Design. I don't know. But then something else happened too, where it pertains to where Ergion did. So we'll get to that when we get to it. Ace Austin, he will be defending his X Division Championship title against Josh Alexander and TJP at Rebellion in a 3-way match. And because what happened at the backstage altercation between the three opponents, Tom Jr. ends up stepping in and basically puts them in a 3-way tag team match at Hardcore Justice. I don't know how the match is going to be. Where it tends to because it pertains to Hardcore Justice, every match is going to be involved hardcore matches, or it tends to whatever type of hardcore matches it could be. It could be any type of match that could be, where it tends to involving weapons and whatever have you. But basically, it's it tends to Hardcore Justice is their version of ECW One Night Stand. So, but anyways, excuse me. So yeah, it's gonna be Ace Austin find a partner of his choosing, TJP to find a partner of his choosing, and Josh Alexander to find a partner of his choosing. And it's going to lead to Hardcore Justice in a 3-way tag team match. So, very excited for that one. So, we'll see how that turns out. We get a video package of Jazz, of her legendary career from ECW, from WWE, and from, where it pertains to her talking about herself and everything, and she's also been interviewing this one too. It was a well done video package for Jazz, for a legendary women's wrestler in Jazz, and she was on some of this too, Bobby folks. Since her being a WWF Women's Champion and a WWE Women's Champion during that year in 2002 when WWE lost the names of WWF because from the other WWF company, and they became WWE. Jazz was the Women's Champion, and then when they turned to WWE, she still was a Women's Champion by being as the WWE Champion. So in a way, Jazz has made a lot of history, and I can see Jazz being into the a Hall of Fame. Maybe not in WWE because obviously WWE and Jazz had fallen out years ago. But I definitely see her being in the Hall of Fame in pro wrestling, especially when it comes to Impact Wrestling. After she comes to Impact Wrestling, and she's happy to be in Impact Wrestling, and this may be on the end of her career. But but she no, she's not. She's not saying this. No, that I'm saying this. This might be this might be in the end of her career, but if it is, it's going to be a way to go out, or a chance to the match that they once did back in the days of the original ECW, and one way to go out, or a chance to losing to someone like Deonna Purrazzo, who also finds Jazz as a big influence, not just returns to what she's brought to the table, but also bringing up I mean, she didn't bring up anyone up stuff, but basically bringing up some women of wrestling that as pertains to Deonna Purrazzo got and gained in the business in the first place. Despite how WWE didn't work out for her because they didn't even want to use her. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see this match. Now I don't know if Jazz lost. I don't know if Deonna Purrazzo lost, because again, I don't want to be spoiled of it. But hopefully we'll get there and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully Jazz doesn't lose. Nothing against Deonna Purrazzo, but I'm glad that Deonna Purrazzo and Jazz is going to have a one-on-one match with no Susan, and unfortunately there's no Kimberly because she's still injured, which is unfortunate that she got injured. But even if she wasn't injured, I will just love it just to see Jazz and Deonna Purrazzo a one-on-one match for the Impact Knockout title, and hopefully we do get that. No Susan involved whatsoever, because Susan's gonna be involved with something else. But anyways, Gia Miller catches up with Deonna Purrazzo. Says that Deonna Purrazzo says that she is building up foundation that women like Jazz have built up, and saying that she is building a new foundation for the new generation with the age of the Virtuosa. Claim that Hardcore Justice will defeat Jazz without help of Kimberly and Susan. And I'm glad that she said that too, by the way. And Jim Miller also questioned her a little bit too, when it pertains to outside influences, when it pertains to the helps of Susan and Kimberly, in the past. And she's got a point there, because again, this makes no sense that Deonna Purrazzo has beaten Jordan Grace twice to pertains to the Knockouts Championship title over the summer of 2020, and also now she needs helps of Kimberly and Susan to win matches now. So I'm glad this is going to just be between Deonna Purrazzo and Jazz, and I cannot wait to see the match. I loved the match before. I just didn't like the finish, because the way they had Deonna Purrazzo cheat to win, because outside interferences and distractions and all that, which Deonna Purrazzo is better than that. So, but it was a good interview there, promo from Deonna Purrazzo. Brian Myers was happy what he did. Also, Tom River bumps into him and books him in the match in the first ever hardcore blindfold match against Jake something at Hardcore Justice. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out, because Brian Myers, he's still working the eye patch, whatever. I can remember if Tom Dreamer said something too, by the way. I think he said something that was supposed to be funny, and I didn't think it was funny. I don't remember. No, it wasn't about the exploding barbed wire death match. It was something else. I can't remember what it was, but I didn't find it funny at all. But I digress. All right, and then also other things too, folks. But I'll get to that when I get to the preview of it for Hardcore Justice, because now we get to the Impact main event of AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Callis versus, also being covered by Don Callis, versus the Impact World Champion Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Eddie Edwards. As soon as I saw Eddie Edwards involved, well, I knew he was involved in the match, but as soon as I saw Eddie Edwards out there, I lost interest in this. Not just because of Eddie Edwards, but I also even lost more interest in this because of the Good Brothers too. Now the Good Brothers are not that cringy and not that awkward for me, and not that not the type of go away heat for me to not want to watch them more than Eddie Edwards does. But at the same time, it's still not better. Doesn't make it any better at all. So this main event, it's as much as a big deal was for Kenny Omega to wrestle Impact Wrestling for the first time. And I'm not talking about routines to him at Hard to Kill. I'm talking about routines to him being in regular Impact Wrestling show, the weekly TV show. And by the way, I forgot to mention this too. This was a night that they moved back to Thursdays, and good. That's good. I love it. Now I gotta get used to feeling it. The Thursdays of it, because to be honest with you folks, I was not really into the show that much. Obviously, there was other reasons why I wasn't into this at all either. But I'm glad they're back on Thursdays. But I gotta get used to them being on Thursdays now. So hopefully, they'll eventually in the weeks, we'll see. We'll turn around. So. But yeah, but the match itself, it was good. Good. All these guys are good. But I just can't give two fucks about Eddie Edwards' character. And on top of that, the Good Brothers, because of their comedy skits that that I don't even laugh at anymore. In fact, I was not laughing at the things in the first place, because I barely watched what they did on WWE. Because they were being treated like garbage. Now, we're since them being part of Bullet Club, before they went to WWE, I got into those type of Good Brothers back in those days, where they were more tolerable, and they were more funnier. Nowadays, I feel like the damage has been done by WWE, that they or a watered down version of the Good Brothers after WWE. The stigma, the stench is still attached to them after leaving WWE. And it's a shame. And it's a shame that I don't feel good. I don't feel good about not wanting to see them anymore. Basically they're basically go away heat for me. Like, get off my TV heat. And I don't want to feel that way. But hopefully, in fact, there's no hope. There's no hope at all. Once the damage is done, it's done with these guys. For a reason, the damage has been done for these guys. And their stuff from BTE is not funny either. Oh, by the way, it was Rich Swann, William Mack, and AO was winning, and of course, Carl Anderson had to lose, of course. But who won? I forgot. Oh yeah, Rich Swann won. Because he got hit with a lot of big moves, from the opponents, and Rich Swann picked up the win. So, and that was it for that show, folks. That will conclude your Impact Wrestling review from April 8th, 2021. 5 matches for the Tomorrow Wrestling, and my overall strength for the show, I'm gonna go with Hortense's Golden Show Edition 2. The Golden Show Edition, Hortense Hardcore Justice, lean up to it. It did a good job. because Tom Dreamer, despite his comedy, which is some of it was a flop, and some of it I didn't think was funny, and some of it I maybe I did kind of find it a little funny, but at the same time he was being a little serious of it too, and I don't think I mentioned something about. In fact, I'll mention that more to the preview. Basically, where involves Eric Young. But anyways, um, but yeah, my overall rating for the show, because of the Golem Show edition, it was a good Golem Show edition, especially with 10 weeks of building it up for Hardcore Justice. But the show itself, my God. But again, it did move back to Thursdays. I got used to watching Thursdays of Impact Wrestling. Um, but I'm gonna just give it a 6 out of 10, just to be generous. I was thinking about giving it a 5 out of 10, but just a 6 out of 10 is fair. So, but with that being said, folks, thank you for watching. No plugs, and no, because again, I'm trying to catch up with everything else that tends to me doing person reviews. So, you'll take care, stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, right? That's going on in the world, and what have you. So, Natural Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets. Take care. Oh, and by the way, folks, I forgot to mention the fifth match. Because I said it was 5 matches. The fifth match I forgot to talk about was Sami Callihan versus Triple XL, where we wasn't sure that Trey Miguel was going to be out there, but he ends up being out there. First, they teased it, and all of a sudden, his music was played again. Then he ends up showing up, being out there. Despite none of Sami Callihan and Trey Miguel wasn't working together as a tag team, but in the way that they kind of work together as a tag team, despite them being a dysfunctional tag team and trusting one another, they still end up being paired up and doing some things. It was the match itself was decent. Not much to say about it, but yeah, it was an intriguing story telling returns to the whole thing between Sami Callihan and Trey Miguel. They ended up winning, and that was it. Basically, Trey Miguel did not want to celebrate with Sami Callihan after that, so there you go. So there you go. That's what I want to say from there. So, and now I can say once again, Natural Born Killer. Peace on the streets. Take care.